Do you always think it's someone else's fault or someone else's doing for the reason why you're single, why you can't stay married, why you keep going to bars, why you're broke, or whatever it is? That always someone else's fault or some other reason besides you? And I asked this question because it had me thinking a lot about my life in the past and about things I see some other people that I know on social media or some old friends I used to hang out with before social media and that I quit associating with after my son was born because I just didn't want to go to the bars all the time and go try to find women all the time and do all that stuff like I used to prior to my son. I used to live in the bars and it was not a very good. It was fun at the time, I guess, but I look back, it was not a very good productive time or actually really deep down fun. Always broke, always hungover. But I look back and I see some of these people I used to hang out with, and if I see them in public, of course I'm cordial with them, but I don't want to associate with them. And it's not because I don't love them or care for them. It's because I know that they haven't changed to be the people that I want to hang around. I don't need that negativity or that blame game or that kind of lifestyle for me to be able to be better to help and to serve others because I know what it does to you. I've done it and I don't want it no more. But it brought up a deal. There was a friend request from a guy I used to hang out with before social media, and I just went on there to check it out. I'm not friends with him, and I just went on there to check it out, see how he's doing. And I looked, and he's divorced or got another girlfriend. And I know he's had three or four wives since I've known him. I know how he treats women. I know how he acts, and I guarantee you, he don't think it's his fault why he don't have all these women. I'm not saying it's not the women's fault. I mean, obviously, if they married the dude, they didn't do their due diligence. But I look at it and I see these kind of people I used to be with, or not even people that I used to be friends with, but people that you just see it in general that they always blame the woman or they always blame something of why they're broke or why they're getting a divorce or whatever their situation is. And they never seem to look on the inside. They never seem to look in the mirror. And you know that because they're still doing the same thing that they were doing 12, 15, 20 years ago that they're still doing it now as older men, older people, and they haven't changed. They just get older and they look rougher and they still keep making excuses instead of saying, I want to better my life. Maybe there's something else going on. And I'm not saying that other people, their wives, like I said, their wives or family ain't got something to do with it, but you have to look inside yourself, right? And I used to be that same way. I used to think there was nothing wrong with me, even though I went to the bars and I couldn't find a good woman and I was always broke or whatever because I just wasn't living the way that I needed to be living. So I started reading books 10, 12 years ago, not even that long. And I never read a book before, but I finally got fed up with the way things were going. I'm like, what's going on? I had a mentor in my real estate business recommend a book to me, and I read. I was like, holy crap, this is some good knowledge. Why didn't I ever think of it? Right? I never had anybody when I was younger to mentor me about life. I was always taught to work, work, and be a worker. So, anyways, I started reading the books and I started realizing, man, this is powerful stuff. So I started reading more and more. I read a shit ton of books between 39 and 47. So I was 39 when I read my first full book. Um, and I read a shit ton. I read an average of 24 books a year. Not saying that like it matters. I'm just saying I like to read. And it changed my life to realize I need to look at me, look at things that I'm doing, my actions, my reactions to things in life. So I've had several mentors, several coaches, and I'm actually in counseling now. I've been wanting to go to counseling for a long time because I just know that it's good to have someone to talk to, someone that sees it from a different angle that can help me be a better person, a better dad, a better human. And obviously, I read the Bible a lot and do a lot of praying to help me. And I think that's guided me to where I'm at now is God, right? That's how He works. You got to either realize that something needs to change or you stay where you're at. And this is, I guess, the whole point of this podcast is you have to quit thinking that everything is someone else's fault or someone else. And the reason you're going through something is because of someone else, your family member or your boss or whatever it is. So I started reading books and I started learning and started helping myself and realizing I need to change. I was in counseling the other day and like I told my counselor, I used to have a pretty bad anger problem all my life. And I started reading books and I'm helping. I'm still got some anger issues, but nothing like I used to. And it's helped me. And then mentors and the coaches and now the counseling's helping me be a better person because I know my perspective of me is not the perspective that other people see of me. There's a million perspectives of people, of you to everybody. Your perspective to yourself is not what it is to your best friend, some stranger, your kids, or your uncle, your mom. Their perspective of you is totally different than what yours is. But you realize that you have to always work on yourself to be better, to help yourself and your perspective of yourself to be a better person if that's what you want to be, and not blame, oh, well, she was a piece of shit, that's why I divorced her. Oh, and that one was too, that's why I divorced her. Or my boss was just a butthead, so I went out and I had to come to the bar and drink, spend all my check, and he just don't pay me enough. I've seen all that. I've been through a lot of that. Until you realize that it's in you, that you can't blame everybody else, and that there is ways to look at it different, right? Read books. There's so many books. Somebody's already done. I've said this in past podcasts. Somebody has already done the things that you need help with, or that you've done, or that you're trying to accomplish. There's a book out there, I'll promise you. There's a counselor out there that can help you. There's friends out there that can guide you. There's a good God that will definitely guide you if you truly believe and truly give him opportunity and truly study, and not say you believe in God, why ain't he helping me, but you don't ever read the Bible. You don't ever, not even read the Bible, but study it and understand it. Understand the true meanings of what the words really mean, not the English version, but what they translate from, right? That's how you fix yourself. That's how you help yourself and change your perspective of yourself to change. Well, maybe them 5 wives I had, it wasn't their fault. I just had the bad chooser. Yeah, they're probably not the best for choosing me either, but maybe I had a bad picker just because of the trauma I grew up in as a kid, or the things I grew up in a kid. This is the people I attract. How do I fix that? Read books, counseling, mentors, coaches. That's how you fix it. There's no other way. You can't, if you don't know you have a problem, and if you're always blaming someone else, you're never going to fix it. You're always going to have different wives. You're always going to be broke. You always want to go to the bar and be drunk. And I see it. I see it all the time. People I used to hang out with when I used to go to the bar all the time are still doing the same thing that they were 15 years ago, 13 years ago, however long it was. My son's 12. So, whenever I met his mom, I met her in a bar. Before that, that's where I was at. But since then, it's not. I'm not saying I haven't been to bar. I ain't been to bars in years. But I went throughout a little bit. When me and his mom separated, I was like, this is not the life for me. I do not want to get sucked back up into this, because I was already better. Like, I already knew the difference. But I'd go try it, and I'd see the same old people that I used to hang out with. And I'm not saying nothing bad about them. I love them all. But I really pray for them all too, because you have to search inside. You have to look in the mirror, look yourself dead in the eyes and be like, whose fault is this? Why am I divorced so many times? Why do I keep picking the crazy women? It ain't their fault. They're crazy. You're the one that picked them. I mean, it is their fault, but you get what I'm saying. Or how come I just feel like every time Friday comes, I need to go to the bar and spend all my paycheck, and I'm broke on Monday, and then I'm bitching because I don't have no money and I can't pay rent. I don't know how to save money. So if you think that everyone else is the problem, everyone else is the reason for something going wrong in your life, or you're not happy where you want to be, it's no one else's fault but yours. You have to look in the mirror. You have to start reading books. You have to go to counseling. You have to find mentors. There is no other way. If you're not happy where you're at in life, and I don't care how many wives you've been, how many bars you go to, how broke you are, that you're not happy. If you're living with your mom and you're a grown man, or your parents, you're not happy. You can't hide that from yourself. You can hide it from everybody else, but you can't hide it from yourself. So until you face the fact that you're not happy, that all this shit keeps happening to you, and it's nobody's fault but yours. And I'm not saying everything in life is your fault. Some things, it's how you react to it is definitely your fault. And that we're all in fault on that. We all have reactions. Between stimulus and action, we have the freedom to choose our reaction, right? So even when something bad happens, it's still our fault how we react to it. But in general, you're the reason why you're unhappy, because you don't want to do nothing about it. You don't want to look in the mirror and say, oh crap, maybe it's me. Maybe I need to change. So if you feel that way, or someone that feels that way, one, I tell you, and I believe this all in my heart, because I've done it and I'm still doing it, is read the Bible. Don't say you believe in God and you don't read the Bible. And I don't mean read it, I mean study it. I read it all the way through, and I was like, this isn't good enough. So now I read a little bit at a time. I study it as I read it. I read whatever I need to read. I'm actually truly trying to understand it and put it all together, because it's all a bunch of hyperlinks. It's the craziest thing in the world. It's actually really cool if you really study it and do it. But don't say you believe in God and you don't even study it and wonder why God isn't listening to you. Or Why is this? Why is God this? Why? Because you're not doing your part in trying to find him, seek him, search him out, and understand him. Do that first. I believe that first. You can do that while you're doing everything else. Then find books, self-help books. There's so many books out there. Just search what you're going through. I'm not happy because of this. You will find a book that will help you. Read those books. Find a counselor. Do your research. Luckily, I've been searching. And I finally found one because I got recommended from one of my buddies in jiu-jitsu, and a guy that I go to. He actually created a Bible study on Mondays. I haven't been in a couple weeks, but I will get back. So my point is, get out there, do what you have to do to be happy. Know that it's that your perspective is different than everybody else's, and you know if you're not happy or not, regardless of how you put on that mask with everybody else. Do the things you got to do to be happy, to find the truth in life with peace and joy. And if you know anybody that needs to hear this, please share it and subscribe and do all that good stuff for me. And remember to change the way you think so you can change your life. So I promise it's worth it. Talk to y'all later.